So many Mega Man games, so many hours spent blowing up robot masters, negotiating with Mavericks, digging for treasure, slotting in battle chips. With all these individual series, surely there must be some sort of nexus that ties them all together.
Professor, the show is called Crossover, right? We should be linking different series together.
I figured it was time to break out of our comfort zone. In this instance, we'll actually be looking at the expansive Mega Man timeline.
And how the various Mega Man games cross over with each other.
What? Kirbopher?
Who else were you expecting, Dr. Mario?
Well, I mean, if we're being honest here.
Don't answer that.
Can I just point out how awesome it is that we're having a crossover with a video game character?
Yeah, Dr. Mario. That's a me.
No, I mean Kirbopher, from the terrain of magical expertise.
Oh yeah, that too.
Kenny, calm down. You can't keep losing it every time we have a guest from another channel. Besides, I asked Mr. Kirbopher to stop by the lab today, because I think that he might just be the man to give us the proper mega mindset on this particular puzzle.
Finally, glad to know someone in the multiverse recognizes my talent for remembering tons of useless video game trivia. Alright, so before I unleash this wealth of knowledge, what do you guys know about the Mega Man timelines?
Timelines? As in plural? Like Zelda?
That's right. Although Capcom hasn't released an officially sanctioned chronology like Nintendo did for Zelda, a Mega Man timeline has been compiled and documented by fans, referencing anything from small cameos to direct statements of dates in the series. Let's take a look. Mega Man's convoluted continuity actually starts prior to when any of the video games take place. Half a century before the games, there's actually a split in the timeline, and it all begins with one brilliant scientist, Dr. Thomas Light.
Wow, someone's done their research. Now from here, everything branches out into two timelines. The first timeline, which we'll call the Robo line, is the universe where Dr. Wily and Dr. Light compete in revolutionary robotics research. This universe consists of the classic Mega Man series, followed by Mega Man X, Mega Man Zero, Mega Man ZX, and finally Mega Man Legends.
Jeez, that's like almost every single Mega Man game. Where do Battle Network and Star Force fall into this?
That would be the, what should we call it?
How about the Network line?
That will do. This universe is where instead of focusing on robotics, Dr. Light made great advances in the world of networking. This timeline, however, covers far fewer titles as it's simply comprised of the Battle Network and Star Force series.
That's right. It's also worth pointing out that this timeline's Dr. Light is actually named Tadashi Hikari.
Oh, and Hikari means light in Japanese, right?
Yes, thank you for that. I didn't know Gaijin Goomba was joining us today. Additionally, the Dr. Wily of this timeline retains his standard name, along with his robotics research. The first Mega Man Battle Network game reveals that Dr. Wily and Dr. Hikari were both working on their projects to be funded by the government in competition with one another. Wily's robotics research being turned down in favor of Hikari's networking project led to a technological revolution,
implying that this period of time in both the main line and the network line are occurring parallel to each other and are in fact not connected directly as they both take place in the year 200X.
Complicated timelines aside, I'm still confused. Remind me, what does any of this have to do with crossovers?
We've clearly shown that we can connect games and even universes together, but Mega Man is a rare case where it actually crosses over with itself. Multiple times. Don't worry, this should make a little more sense later on. Kirb, maybe we should start by lining out these universes.
Sure. Let's start with the Robo line. After the split, this universe starts with what is known as the Classic Era. These games take place from the year 2000X to 2000XX and span the entirety of the main number Mega Man titles and the side game Mega Man and Bass. Nearly 100 years later, both Dr. Light and Mega Man have since passed away, paving way for a new hero, X. This Maverick/Reploid era lasts about 200 years, from 21XX to 22XX, and covers the entire Mega Man X franchise.
The X era draws to a close at the Maverick War's end, and Zero reawakens from his century-long slumber. That takes us to the Zero era, which takes place in 22XX. The last leg of this long legacy are the Mega Man ZX games, taking place 200 years after the events of Mega Man Zero.
Ending that timeline. Okay, to the network line.
Hold it!
Not so fast. While that may be the end of X and Zero stories, it's not the end of the timeline. Believe it or not, Mega Man Legends fits into this timeline too. The Legends era takes place several thousand years after the end of the Zero and ZX era. Though an exact time period isn't known, it's long enough to have had an ancient time in and of itself, so we can assume it's far removed from anything else in the Robo line.
To further support this theory, in Namco Cross Capcom, some Mega Man Legends characters make an appearance. Well, along with several other Capcom characters from other franchises that all take place during 20XX. Now, it's worth noting that the Legends characters that appear in this game claim that they hail from a distant future.
With that in mind, the legends of the classic and X Mega Man have been adapted into cartoons, manga, and even video games inside of the Legends series. In fact, Mega Man Volnut himself only has that name because Roll named him after the Mega Man from her favorite video game.
So you're saying that the in-game canon actually states that the previous Mega Man games are not only ancient history, but also the video games of their world? Mega Man. More like Meta Man. Anybody?
Well, it's not that bizarre when you think about how much media in the real world is adapted from historical events. All gameception jokes aside, titles such as Marvel vs. Capcom and Tatsunoko vs. Capcom have characters specifically from the Classic, X, and Legend series, and those alone. This further cements that all of these periods are within the same timeline being brought together via some sort of time travel. Now, to the network line.
As we mentioned earlier, the network line is pretty straightforward. It starts in the network era, which takes place from 2000X to 21XX, and is then followed by the Star Force era, which takes place 200 years later in 22XX.
Now, this may just be delving into cameo territory, but in the network line's EXE era, there are posters and toys of several Mega Man X and Mega Man Legends characters, implying those series in this timeline are completely fictional media, not based on real events like the stuff shown in Mega Man Legends back at the tail end of the Robo line.
Heck, maybe these game series are what inspired the name and design of Mega Man.exe. Dr. Akari might have been such a huge fan of the fictional Mega Man of the network line that he named his son Hub, reincarnated as a NetNavi, after his favorite character. And as a side note, I don't even want to try to explain how you turn a kid into a NetNavi. It didn't really even make much sense in the game, and wow, that would require its own separate video of analysis.
What kind of person would literally name their child after a fictional character?
Barrel and Roll Casket from the Legend series?
Oh yeah, right. Hey, something just came to mind. If you guys are so sure that these two timelines are separate from each other, then explain how the heck Onimusha Blade Warriors factors into this continuity. Both Zero and Mega Man EXE from your supposed timelines appear in feudal Japan.
It's possible that Onimusha Blade Warriors may be a nexus between the two timelines, like a rift in time that allows them to battle against each other.
You know, Kenny poses an interesting question. A question that I was actually lucky enough to ask Keiji Inafune, the father of Mega Man, at the Screw Attack Gaming Convention. I gave it to him straight. How are both Mega Man.exe and Mega Man Zero able to appear in Onimusha Blade Warriors as playable characters? Though in this case, I was actually interested in the aspect of game production and not as a canon connection. Believe it or not, Mr. Inafune said that all you really need to do to create a crossover at Capcom is make a simple request. So let's say you're working on the new Devil May Cry. All you really need to do is walk over and ask, "Hey, can I put Mega Man in my game?"
Huh. You know, it's funny. Surprisingly, Inafune's answer actually raises a great point. The truth is, when you step back and look at all 7 Mega Man franchises collectively, and how they cross over with each other, some of these references and bits of influence between each other come down to them just, well, being video games. While there may very well not be an explanation for why Lan has a Zero poster in his room in the Battle Network universe, it could be as simple as the sprite artist working on Lan's room liked Zero from Mega Man X and wanted to toss in a little reference.
That's true. Looking back, it always seemed like Mega Man Zero was intended to take place right after Mega Man 6, you know, when Zero seals himself away. The ending of X6 indicates that Capcom was ready to move on with the series, but to their surprise, people still wanted more. And so we got the, very lackluster Mega Man X7 and the, not as bad Mega Man X8. But still, now they have to retcon both the ending to Mega Man X6 as well as the beginning of the first Mega Man Zero in order to not make clear bridges between the series.
Keeping things ambiguous, like the connection between the Classic and X eras, leaves room for the creators to tell the stories they want without being bound by the chains of, well, of this continuity we're trying so hard to analyze.
So when is Capcom gonna realize that people still do want Mega Man games? Speaking of which, aren't you two leaving out a pretty important title in this grand cosmic continuity? Where's Mega Man crossover?
No! No! Bad Kenny, we do not speak of that monstrosity!
What? I thought it was a pretty neat tribute to the entire franchise. It even has crossover in the title, but with that stupid X meaning cross thing that games love to do nowadays.
I just can't. Professor, I can't deal with this guy anymore. I gotta bow out. I'm out.
Roll the credits? Hey guys, thanks for watching. I want to give a huge shout out to my friend Kirbopher for coming on the show, so you should make sure to check out his show, TOME, or you can go check out some of the awesome videos on my personal channel. But as always, make sure to subscribe here on Game Theory, the smartest channel in gaming.